If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below. Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord and welcome to another installment of my furry review/analysis series here on YouTube, or otherwise known as one of the only few things on this channel that is relevant. Pretty much, yeah. But anyways, for this episode of furry review/analysis, we are going to be looking at yet another YouTube channel reviewing furries, and this time being from an animation section of said channel. And we're going to be looking at 3 cartoon videos today, and this is from the YouTube channel known as CollegeHumor, doing a cartoon series known as Furry Force. Just by the name alone, we can probably tell that this is going to be kind of a crazy ride. But before we go into the video, I'm going to give you guys my past experience with CollegeHumor as a YouTube channel or as a site as a whole. Now, CollegeHumor has been around for over 10 years at this point, and I never really found out or even started watching CollegeHumor videos until about 2011. And I never really religiously watched their videos. It's just over the past 5 or 6 years, I've been just watching a video from them from time to time. And I will say, whenever I do tend to watch a video of theirs, I think it's very good, and it's a very funny video usually most of the time. Most of the videos they make that I tend to find really funny are more of their live action skits rather than their animations. Their animations are alright, but I more so prefer watching their live action skits because I just feel like it works better for them. However, I kind of stopped watching them over the span of the last 2 years or so once they got big into a series they made called Adam Ruins Everything, which is kind of an informational show talking about different facts in a comedic way, and it actually has its own show on True TV. And it seemed pretty cool when I first watched it, but then he made one video talking about video games and women in the video game industry. And it's just the message of it didn't really sit right with me. It kind of like was victimizing the women and things like that, and just overall wasn't well received by most people. Woo! That's a lot of dislikes. But yeah, as of the past few years, CollegeHumor has kind of gone to the route that a lot of people view it as SJW-like, and I haven't delved that much into it to really see, but I do believe I can see that with how big of an industry they are getting for making content. And with things such as SJWs becoming more prevalent these days and being really popular, it makes sense. But we're not going to be talking about the SJW side of CollegeHumor today. Instead, we're going to be looking at their 3 animations they made of the Furry Force trilogy. Now, these were released back in 2014, so this was before, I guess, the whole SJW thing set in. So we're going to look at this today and see how it picks up with the furry fandom. Now, before we get into this video, I will let you guys know that I have not fully watched these videos yet. I've watched little snippets of them before in the past, but I haven't watched them completely. And I will say, with my experience of watching these videos in the past, it is really gross to look at. I will not deny that, but we will just get into it now. Be prepared. So with that out of the way, let's watch the first Furry Force video known as Furry Superheroes Are Super Gross.
Now back to Furry Force on Fox Kids.
Soon this forest will be a beautiful parking lot. I love parking lots.
I just want to add, I don't know why someone has to get so emotional over a parking lot, but that's besides the point.
Vivisector. Looks like we got here just in time.
These animals need our help!
Persona transformation! Furry Force is on the prowl!
I find it funny how this seems very normal, and it's kind of reminiscent of like the Power Rangers at first, or like Captain Planet. And I love how it just immediately just takes an unexpected twist like that. It's pretty cool.
Whoa! Why are they so sexy?
Wow, talk about self-rediscovery.
I don't like this.
Now, one thing that a lot of people might notice when they look at this video is that it's very gross. It is very, very gross looking. And it's not saying that it's badly animated. It's very well animated. It's just, I always notice that with animation, when it comes to very specific detail, especially of bodies or humans or animals, it does look really gross. Think of like very old school anime.
Nope. Master? No, don't leave us!
I love you, hip-hop.
The reason why I censored this is even though I could technically show this, I censored it because I thought it would make it even more funny from how absolutely ridiculous it is to have a female wolf-fox hybrid giant muscle macro hypercock. Well, I will say it is kind of accurate to how certain people in the furry fandom's fetishes go if you want to morph all of the fetishes together to make an abomination. Oh, we're going to be in for a long one on this one. So that now wraps up the first video of the Furry Force trilogy. If you guys are wondering what I think when it comes to how they're portraying the fandom, yeah, they're portraying the more negative sides of it, but you can tell by walking at CollegeHumor, looking at all their videos in general, they are a very satirical channel with their videos. I'm pretty sure when the people at CollegeHumor were making this, they were aware of the fact that this is extremely exaggerating and I don't think they mean any harm towards furries. Hell, by looking at more research on this, it seems as if some people who are working on this animation are furries as well. And I won't deny, even though this is extremely gross, I do find it pretty funny with how satirical it is. It does give off kind of a Ren and Stimpy vibe with how disgusting that show was, but yet it was still funny. Now let's go into part 2 of the Furry Force series, which is entitled Furry Force Part 2, Furry Superheroes Get Even Grosser. Is that even a word?
Now back to Furry Force on Fox Kids.
Okay, I will not deny, if I ever saw a castle with a giant horse vagina being shown as the doorway, that would be pretty freaking awesome. Just me? Alright then, never mind.
Furry Force, the president has been kidnapped by Victor Vivisector.
You can count on us, General.
Persona transformation!
What the hell are you watching, Clarence?
It's government business, I swear!
You know, I bet that's relatable to a lot of furries who get caught by their parents or wives or husbands watching furry porn. I do feel like that is very relatable with some furries.
Now, Mr. President, you'll sign this executive order turning every national forest into a beautiful parking lot.
What is it with this guy in parking lots?
Okay, I honestly don't know what's up with this villain in parking lots. I know it's just a joke, but if he has a fetish for parking lots, maybe he can sympathize with people who sexualize furries, maybe?
Oh, stop that. Stop biting. Ew, 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 ew. Hip-hop, restrain them.
Callie, you know what to do.
You got it.
Oh, no, I can't move. I can't look away.
This isn't happening, this isn't happening, this isn't happening.
Score 1 for hyper-pregnancy fetish. I feel like we're at this point in the series where they're really starting to pump out the gross-out humor in this, and I do feel like it is working for the most part, but my god. It's getting a little bit hard for me to keep watching this because this is very, very gross for me to look at some of the certain things. Like, I can tolerate some of it, but then there's certain things that gets a little too much.
Introducing Francis, the newest member of the Furry Force. I'll untie you in a jiffy, gang.
Okay, I don't want to get into either whether I can see this as kind of a baby fur thing or some remodel of Scrappy Doo with muscle fetish in it. I don't freaking know. God, this is getting crazy.
No.
Mr. President, who are these people? Why are they so sexy?
I resign.
And so that pretty much wraps up part 2 of the Lord of the Furries trilogy. So now we're going to go on to the third and final chapter of this trilogy, The Return of the Furry Force.
Finally, I will stop the Furry Force once and for all. Behold my newest creation, the Scaly Squad.
Boss, the dragon won't stop rubbing.
I like the fact that they point out that scale personas are also a thing, even though most people who assume the furry fandom is all about furry creatures, this also involves lizards, dragons, etc. So that's pretty cool of them.
Vivisector, I have traveled from the future. In your time, we are enemies, but now we must join forces.
Oh my god, this is the first time I'm actually seeing your junk.
A great evil threatens us all.
It's too big. Oh, the tip is so red.
Alright, I'm going to definitely censor that because I could never imagine CollegeHumor would go to animating a still shadowed furry giant dick. Good on you, CollegeHumor, for getting that off the bucket list.
Our combined lust proved too intense for humanity. The effect was extreme. Everyone on Earth was transformed.
Oh, that dog is so stacked.
What the heck is up with that dog? Oh my god. And that pretty much wraps up the Furry Force trilogy. Oh my god, that was definitely something we just watched there. Overall, a lot of people might dislike this for how overly sexualized it did make the furry fandom, and it definitely is, but I actually kind of like this one because you can obviously tell that this was supposed to be satirical. And I do know that a lot of the things I have reviewed in the past are satirical. I never really addressed that for some of the other ones, and I'm sorry about that. But for this one, I am definitely sure that this is satirical, and I like how they just are aware of it in this point, and they definitely take advantage of all the stereotypes to help further just make people have a laugh. And I don't think that a lot of people will assume that furries are all like this, because a lot of people can tell that this is definitely satirical and shouldn't be taken seriously. So overall, I will say with good animation and definitely disturbing imagery, this is overall a really good video, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. And if CollegeHumor still makes videos of this high quality in terms of humor and animation, then definitely give them a subscription if you want. It's up to you. And that pretty much wraps up this episode of Furry Review/Analysis. If you enjoyed this video and want to further help out my channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, hitting that like button, turning on that notification bell, and subscribing all together. I have been SeetherCord, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone. But I must ask the question that everyone else is asking. Why are they so sexy? Look at that kid's face. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, grr.
Why are they so sexy?